Hey there to our 179 subscribers, our future subscribers, and all of the people that secretly watch us without subscribing. I'll try to be quick because I had to turn on my fans and coolers and stuff off. But I'm just wondering how many people out there have gotten themselves into a situation like I have, where you have too much to do and you can't remember to get it done. And then you're also stressing and upset with yourself because you're not getting it done. And so I made this video, or I'm making this video, to address that issue and tell you what I've been doing. Let me know what you do to help fix those issues, and let me know what you think of my idea. Before I do that though, I have a TikTok video that I made a couple of days ago that kind of talks about this a little bit, so I will play that first, and then I will discuss the whole everything going on. So today's prompt is supposed to be random ramblings, and I had something I wanted to talk about, and I was thinking about it for days, and the last couple of days I've been so busy I kind of forgot what it was. So how about if I just talk about why or how I'm busy, because I've always been big on to-do lists, and lately I've just gotten myself into a position where I have more than I can handle. And so I decided to redo how I do to-do lists. And basically what I've done is I've made index cards with each day of the week on them, and wrote down everything that's I have to do each day, in general, because I can't even remember to eat. And so I actually even wrote down eating so I can remember. But each card has like a room in the house that I need to just go over and make sure it's clean. Each card has a project on it that I'm working on, so that every project gets something done on it every week. And of course my schooling's on it every day. And on the days where I have no schoolwork left to do, then I could just kind of go back over some of my old stuff. And that seems to be working pretty good. I'm 10 days in, and mentally I'm feeling a lot more calm and relaxed and getting things done. And hey, I'm remembering to do this every day because it's on my cards. So yeah, that's a plus, that I'm actually remembering to get things done because they're on index cards rather than a single list. And I think, for the average person, a to-do list is fine, because an average person doesn't do to themselves what I do to myself. So, but this is what's working for me. And so if you have gotten yourself in a position where you have way more than you can handle, then that's a good way to go about it, I think. And if you want more information, let me know, and I can give you more detailed information on how I'm doing it and how it's working out. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Oh, and just for a little more context, so 3 of the cards just say, there's 3 days of the week that just say project list, and then I have another card that has short-term projects on it, little things that I can do in like a day or two. And that way I can just, on those days, go to my project list and pick out the small projects that need to get done. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so what happened was, back in September, I decided that I needed to go back to eating the way I used to. I needed to go back to a vegetarian kind of diet because meat makes me sick. It gives me migraines. The animal protein my body can't process. And so I decided to go back to how I used to eat, that I actually, when I felt good. And I was doing good for for maybe about a month and a half. And then from about November to May, life happened. A lot of chaos, a lot of drama, a lot of things going on, things I had no control over, and things that maybe I could have if I was a little meaner. Things I could have addressed if I wasn't so polite. And so in the process, my health started deteriorating quite a bit. I started having a lot of problems that I just kind of tried to keep to myself, although I did get sick 4 times in 2 months with some sort of colds or lung issues or whatever. And so anyway, after being sick and going through all this for like November through May, I decided to try to fix my problems because the doctor wants to medicate me and I don't want to take medication, so he's given me till September to fix myself. So anyway, in the process of doing all this, I decided to make a plan. And I do want to address the food thing, which I am working on. But then I have this issue that I forget simple little things like, eating and taking my meds. And by meds, I mean vitamins, minerals, herbs, whatever. I don't really take a whole lot of other meds, like prescription stuff, other than vitamins. So I couldn't remember to do that. I couldn't remember to eat, couldn't take the meds, couldn't remember to do the simple little things I needed to do. And it was stressing me out that I wasn't getting things done. It was stressing me out that sometimes I'd be 5 o'clock at night and realize that I hadn't eaten and I didn't know where the day went. And so I came up with this plan. And so I've got this little container with index cards in it. And so I'll explain a little bit here. So I created these cards. There's one for each day of the week. And when I did this, first I made a list of the basics, things that I needed to remember every day. Take a shower, take my meds, try to exercise, do dishes, eat, each meal, things like that. And so I went and I put that on each of the cards, because each card there's one card for each day of the week. And so I wrote those things on each of these cards. And then I was like, okay, I'm always overwhelmed by the house because I don't know where to start, because I'm like always, I have this problem when I get, when there's a mess, I get overwhelmed and then I just don't even want to look at it, and it's easier to ignore it if it's a mess that other people have helped create. I just kind of like go hide. And so what I've done is each card has a different room written down on it. So each day of the week, there's a specific room that I kind of go and look at and go, oh, pick a couple things up, dust, whatever. Also, on each card, there is one project written down. And there's 2 days that say work on these videos, the YouTube videos. So I will be doing this more often. I will be getting more videos out to you guys, because there are going to be 2 days of the week where I work on videos. And there's one day I'm going to be working on my books, and one day I'm going to be working on paperwork, and then 3 days I'm going to be working on my project list, which I'll show you in just a second. And then on Saturdays I added church because I miss going, and I haven't gone consistently since before COVID, and so I want to start doing that. And so there's that. The project list. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep a track, write down projects that need to be done. In the TikTok video I said 1 to 2 days. There are things that I'm not going to take, that's going to take a lot more than 1 to 2 days, but they're not long-term, like permanent projects, like school or whatever. I mean, school's on all the cards, but anyway, I mean, yeah, it's every day. So anyway, so I wrote down the projects that have like a specific, like do them and they're done kind of thing. And so there's 3 days a week where I go look at this card and go, oh, this is the one I'm going to work on today. And it's things like, meal prep, which is kind of a permanent thing, but it's not an all the time thing. So meal prep, where I can just create something big, put it in containers and freeze it. and then have it for a month or two. And so yeah, that is part of it. And then of course I have these cards with ideas for meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And that way, if I sit there and I'm like, oh, it's time to eat, and then I don't know how many of you sit there and go, just stare at the kitchen and go, I don't know what I want, and then just walk out. That's a bad habit of mine. That's why sometimes I forget to eat, because I'll go in to get something and then lose interest. And so now I've got cards with ideas to help me decide what I want to eat. And then on top of that, the rest of these cards are for YouTube. And that way, on the days where I have a YouTube video, I go and look at all the different categories, pick which category I want to work on, and then pick a card out of it for which video I want to work on. And so that way everything's just organized and there's no reason for me to forget things. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing to try and fix the chaos in my life. And it's working so far, you know. I've been doing this since June 1st, and I feel much better. And one of the most important things to remember is you don't have to finish everything all the time. It's like, I kind of thought, well, I need to clean the kitchen floor, but I was like, not stressing over it, because there's always the next week, and I can clean it then. And it's not like it's filthy or anything. I would never be able to live with it if it was. But, you know, just little things like, you know, if you miss something, it's not a big deal. Do it the next week. And you have a card to remind you so you don't forget. And so that's what I'm doing. And I will try to remember to update you guys in next month's quarterly update, just so you can know what's going on and know how it's working. And please let me know in the comments if you have ideas or what you think of my idea. And I will be back in a couple of days. And yeah, so please like, subscribe, comment, share, and get your friends to do the same thing. And thank you. Bye.